Howdy folks, I'm Serene Sleepy Orange, softly snoring on swell sweetgrass.
I'm Amber.
And here's a lovely bed of sweetgrass for us to sleep on. Oh wait, no, it's Reddit. So let's get started. Alright folks, and our first letter is titled, Am I a Jerk for Not Telling My Sister That I Secretly Paid for Her Rent for 3 months after she nearly got evicted? So I'm 23 and I have a younger sister. She's 21 and she's been going through a rough patch. She lost her job late last year and was struggling to keep up with rent. She never outright asked for help, but during a call in March, she broke down saying that she didn't know how she would stay in her apartment. She's always been really proud and hates the idea of handouts, especially from family. She knew that she was 2 months behind, so I reached out to her landlord directly and paid 3 months in full. And then I asked him not to say anything and just to let her think that she got an extension or something. Well, a week later, she called me sounding relieved, saying that her landlord told her that some clerical issues had occurred and that cleared things up for her and that maybe it was some tenant relief thing from the city. And I told her that I had the same thought too, after she told me. I just played along. She started sleeping better, got a new job a month later, and things have been looking up. The problem is that my cousin, who I trusted and vented to, said that what I did was manipulative and that if my sister ever finds out, she might feel hurt or embarrassed that I went behind her back. I didn't mean it like that. I just wanted her to have a little room to breathe without the weight of it all crushing her. So now I'm wondering if I crossed the line by not telling her. Am I the jerk? All right, folks, what do you think?
No, not the jerk. It's only manipulative if you're trying to get something out of her.
Oh, yeah.
You know, the point is for her to never know this. Now, I do think Opie made a mistake telling the cousin. Like, it seems like the cousin is not a trustworthy person on this matter. And hopefully the cousin doesn't go and tell the sister.
Yeah.
But no, Opie, you didn't do anything wrong.
Well, in the comments, OP mentions that the cousin is a confidant. And I think that's really why OP would, talk to them about this, is because they apparently talk about secrets and stuff like that all the time. And it's nice to have somebody you can vent to, right? And talk about things. And I don't think OP was probably talking about the sister in like a derogatory way, but just like, I can't believe, I'm sorry that, I'm glad I was able to do something for her or something like that, right?
Yeah, well, it always becomes tricky when this person knows the other person. Like, if you have a friend who doesn't know your sister, who you are vent to, the chances of them actually telling your sister are pretty minimal. But
yeah.
It gets a little more complicated when it's someone who knows you both.
Well, and that's a fair point, because this could get back to the sister just because the cousin might tell now, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think if it does come out, then OP just needs to be open and honest about the situation, really. But I'm hoping the cousin doesn't out them, because I think that would be even more rude of them.
Yeah.
But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. And Phantom Florist says, Not the jerk, your cousin is a jerk though. And OP replies, We've kept secrets for years. I didn't expect this to be an exception. I agree with you. And Cassowary32 says, Not the jerk, why would you tell your cousin what you did? It sounds like you wanted your sister to find out. And OP replies, She's like my safe space and we confide in each other. And Negative Building 68 says, Not the jerk, but in the future, when you do something like this for others, don't share it. That way, you don't have to worry about someone else sharing something private. You did a good thing and helped your sister tremendously. Don't doubt yourself. People help others anonymously all the time. Just think about it like you paid for a car behind you in the drive-thru. You're spreading kindness, which the world needs more of right now. And Bob8372 says, As soon as you tell someone, they tell someone, and they say, You can't tell anyone I told you this. Then they'll tell someone else. Then it'll eventually get back around to your sister. You did a good thing, but telling your cousin wasn't smart. All right, folks, and our next letter is titled, Am I a jerk for donating some of my sister's clothes without telling her? My sister has a lot of clothes. Too many clothes, in fact. She doesn't even wear like half of the things that she has. My family and I are moving to a new home. While my sister was at work, my mom and I decided to pack her clothes into a suitcase so that we could easily transport it to the new home. I work from home and my mom works part-time, whereas my sister works all day from an office. Well, we saw that my sister had multiple hoodies from high school. She was part of a club in high school, and every year they gave away a new hoodie. She still had those hoodies even though they were now years old. She had newer clothes too, so there was really no need for her to hang on to old high school hoodies. Well, we kept one of the school hoodies of my sister so that she wouldn't be suspicious and donated the rest to Goodwill, charity for the poor. My mom told me to keep quiet and not to tell sister that we donated her hoodies. She said that my sister wouldn't even realize that we donated her clothes unless we told her, and that she would likely have a meltdown if she found out, which my mom was not ready to deal with. So I'm the jerk for donating my sister's clothes without her knowing and keeping quiet about it. All right, folks, what do you think?
Yes, you're absolutely a jerk and a thief. These were not your clothes to do anything with. Now, if your sister was told that she needed to move her clothes over to the new house by X date and left them behind, and like they were selling the house, like there would get to be a certain point where it would have been the mom's responsibility to just where the mom would have been allowed to just toss them because new people are moving in.
Yeah.
But it doesn't sound like this is the case. It just sounds like OP and the mom decide, hey, we're going to move the sister's clothes and we're going to get rid of stuff without telling her. That was completely uncalled for, especially getting rid of sentimental items. Like, she has 4 sweatshirts because she was in that club for 4 years. They all mean something from her, something to her. They're not going to have sentimental value to anyone else. They're probably just getting tossed. Like, Goodwill's going to have a hard time selling a club sweatshirt to someone who's never been in that club.
Yeah, well, also, like, I like how the OP was like, oh, this is a charity for the poor.
I know.
It's like, Goodwill is used by a lot of different people. It isn't exclusively for the poor.
Well, and it's also a for-profit company.
Yeah.
So it's not like they're using all the money to like benefit people or anything.
Well, that's it. And I mean, it's nice that they are giving away clothes. And I mean, in somebody who's in deep need of clothing, it might benefit them to have a sweater like this. They might not care if it's the only thing they can afford, right? But I think the fact of the matter is that they did this behind their sister's back, and that was wrong.
Mm-hmm.
They needed to let her know, and like you said, the mom could have set deadlines.
Mm-hmm.
But they didn't, or even just said she needs to take care of her own stuff.
Yeah.
And let her go through it.
Exactly. If she can't bring everything over, then, maybe that's at the point in time where things get gotten rid of. But like that needed to be the sister's responsibility and her choice.
Mm-hmm. But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. But folks, let's see what the Wheel of Judgment has to say. Wheel of Judgment, turn, turn, turn. Tell us the judgment that OP's earned. Not the jerk, but annoyingly self-righteous?
Definitely in the wrong. Oh, the wheel is a thief.
The wheel just likes to see the world burn sometimes, I guess.
The wheel is a thief. That's the only reason it's saying this.
The wheel's like, stealing? Stealing's not wrong. They're just annoyingly self-righteous.
They are wrong and annoyingly self-righteous. Those are not mutually exclusive.
QL58 says, you're the jerk. You and your mom are thieves. Not yours. You shouldn't have touched them. And Diminishing Patience says, you stole from her. You're the jerk. And A Pocket Full of Cows says, it's called sentimentality. Some people like reminders of their past. You're the jerk. It's not your belongings and not your decision. In addition, you throw away things that you can't replace and that have sentimental value. Your mom is a jerk too. All right, folks, and our next letter is an update, and it's a little bit of a long one. Update, am I the jerk for skipping my brother's wedding because I wasn't invited to the engagement party? And Amber, do you want to give a summary of this?
Yeah, so basically, OP moved out of state and for college and never came back to the place where they had lived originally. And ever since then, like the brother was going to get married, and basically OP was told, oh, the engagement party is a small thing. You don't need to come back for it. But of course, it was actually a huge affair, and everyone just lied and said OP couldn't make it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the wedding rolls around, and OP's other siblings all have roles in the wedding, but OP doesn't, is just going to be there as a guest. And so OP did not RSVP, and like, instead of doing the reasonable thing and assuming OP wasn't going, they all assumed OP was still going and got furious when OP didn't show up at the wedding.
And thank you to Sakara for sending this along. Let's get into it. Thank you to everyone who responded to my last post. I can't believe how many replies I got, and I tried keeping up, but I just couldn't. I also thought that it would be 50-50, not the jerk and you're the jerk, because I know what I did was a bit petty. For those who didn't read my last post, the thick of it is that I was specifically not invited to my twins' engagement party, specifically not included in the wedding party, and I chose not to attend after being iced out for the past year. To the people who said you're the jerk, I understand your reasons. Yes, it was cowardly not to RSVP and avoid drama, but looking back, I was in the headspace where I would have just caved to the guilt if I had RSVP'd and that I wasn't planning on attending. Also, the little part of me was hoping that they would realize that I didn't RSVP and they would tell me that they would want me to come. But every day that passed between the RSVP date and the wedding, I got angrier and more hurt, and I wanted to make it clear in a big way that if they don't want me around, then I don't have to be around. And I get that's a jerk move to do. Well, I had a long phone call with my aunt and cousin last night about the wedding drama. They have given me some more info about our suspicions and a bit of conjecture based on what we know and what we've heard, but here's it goes. We really do think that my mother felt that I rejected them when I didn't move back after graduating. This is despite always coming home for my brother and sister's graduations, all birthdays, mine and immediate families, holidays, special events, etc. I practically visit on a monthly basis. But despite this, we think that she has some weird vendetta against me for splitting up her family and being an example to my siblings that they don't have to stay local. Even worse, somehow visiting so often made my mother more resentful because my aunt mentioned that my mother once told her a few years ago that I was quote-unquote flaunting my wealth by showing her that I could visit so often. And thanks to my senior year internship, I went immediately into a field where progression can be made quick, and thanks to going back for a very specialized master's degree, I'm in a very niche space within the field and was able to move up faster. I'm not bragging. It was just luck, connections, and a great mentor early on. People suggested that my brother might be jealous. He does earn less, but as far as I know, he loves his job. It just doesn't have the same career progression. Honestly, his job is much more exciting than mine, and I'm sure it fulfills him a lot more. My job isn't terrible, it's just not one anyone wants to hear work stories about at a dinner party. Lol. I was also flaunting my money by gifting family money when they needed it. My grandfather often said, never loan family money. Give it freely if you want to, but it'll destroy relationships when you start asking for repayment. Not a week of Judge Judy reruns goes by without proving that it's true. So when I could, I gifted my family money when they needed it. Money for car repairs, money to help with my parents' mortgage when my dad was out of work during COVID, money when my brother ran out halfway through his kitchen renovations. And until last night, my parents' internet and Disney Plus bills, but I've now canceled those monthly auto payments. Again, this was me flaunting my success, but they never stopped asking either. Well, my aunt and cousin also said that they've heard lots of passive-aggressive comments about me over the years. First from my mother during the first few years after I decided to stay in Portland, and then eventually from my siblings. We're pretty sure that my mother slowly poisoned them against me for not moving back home and showing what happens if they ever tried to move away. Someone said this about my mother meeting my girlfriend in the previous post. Quote, to be honest, given the context of everything else that's happened, what your mother said here about finally finding someone who can put up with you sounds less like a tongue-in-cheek joke and more like a not-so-subtle barb. I see it now. I laughed it off just as my mother's humor, but now I also see that these passive-aggressive comments to me, to my siblings, over the years were subtle manipulation to turn them against me and for me to learn to accept it. A lot of people suggested that this was treatment to get me to move back home and to punish me for leaving. But I'm not going to come back home to embrace treatment like this and hope that it goes away now that they've gotten their way, especially when it's been too ingrained in them by now. It also explains why, for the past few years, almost every conversation is initiated by me. They simply don't like me anymore and don't need me until they need or want something. Well, my cousin also learned from another cousin that my brother shot himself in the foot when he mentioned the engagement party. I wasn't supposed to know at all. The plan was to tell everyone that I couldn't make it and hope that I would never find out. My brother told that cousin that I wasn't supposed to find out about it, but after he let it slip, I wouldn't shut up about it and asked him to come. Based on how they've been talking about me for a couple of years, a lot of extended family thinks that I'm some sort of annoying loser who makes my too often visits miserable for my family, and I can't get the hint to just go away. So I'm finally going away. My aunt and mother really never got along. My aunt is my mother's brother's wife. But my aunt said that she knew all of this had my mom's name all over it, and that years of digs, passive-aggressive comments, and full-on aggressive comments have come to all of this. She said that they're not the same people. I told them that I didn't think that there was any coming back from this. My aunt and cousin both mentioned that they never heard my dad say anything bad, so my aunt is going to have my uncle talk to my dad man to man to see if he can find out what is going on. I thanked my aunt and cousin and reminded them that they're all pretty much the only family that I have left, and I don't plan on losing touch with them. My aunt even mentioned that they haven't gone camping in years and asked if there are any nice places around Portland. It's too far of a drive to go camping, but it means that they may come and visit sometime. They also said that they're going to try to correct some information about me with extended family members, but I told them not to bother, that they've already chosen to believe it. But for now, my immediate family are cut off. I've blocked them on my phone and social media. No more free handouts when they need money. No more wasting money to go to Phoenix, Arizona 10 times a year just to be roasted by the sun and family members. No more punching bags. Thank you all for your support and helping me realize that my family is garbage. All right, folks, what do you think?
Well, it's unfortunate that OP's family is so awful, but I'm glad that OP is getting away.
Well, I mean, I think that is good that OP is getting away. I mean, this is one of those situations where they did everything right and still ended up in the wrong, right? I mean, this is just one of those life lessons where you can do everything right. You can be a good person, you can do no wrong, and still someone will paint you as the enemy, right? And it's through no fault of your own. The mom was completely out of line with doing this, but it was also out of line for OP's siblings to, kowtow to this and, go along with it, right? Like, you should have some kind of respect for your sibling and not, bully them behind their backs. So, I don't know. I think that it's just kind of a really rude thing to do. I feel bad for OP here. I really do. But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. And Creepy Macaroon 9998 says, I figured the reasoning would be what I expected, since your story was similar to mine in many ways. I'll tell you this much. Things will get much smoother for you when you get used to it. No more headspace being taken up by people who you would expect to be happy for you, but are really your opposites. The best thing that you can do is just live your life and be happy. And Opie replies, good to hear others have gone through it. And Baboon on the Ride says, good for you, from a fellow person whose family didn't choose them. Sometimes that's just how things work out. You've got too much love to waste on people who don't give it back. And OP replies, onwards and upwards. Alright folks, it is tea time. Grab your beverages of choice. I've got some tea right here, and Amber, she has a joke.
Why wasn't the lipstick tube worried when they got into an accident?
Oh, the lipstick tube wasn't worried about when they got into an accident because they have really good insurance. Such good insurance, in fact, that they aren't worried about anything ever. Like millions of dollars worth of policy type of stuff. And they've got the best lawyers. They're very wealthy. They're very fine lipstick, let me tell you that.
Because there was only cosmetic damage.
I suppose so. I suppose so.
And it's National Lipstick Day and National Lasagna Day.
I mean, wouldn't that be worse for the lipstick if it was, because lipstick is a cosmetic, right? So, like, if there's only cosmetic damage, then that means that the lipstick themselves were damaged, and it was probably not so good for them. Maybe that's why they weren't worried, is because they were...
You're so rude.
It was a good joke. It was a good joke. I'm just a bad person.
I worked so hard.
I liked it. I thought it was a good joke. I really did. And I have a special guest tea. This one is a David's tea. It is called Blood Orange Boost.
How is it?
It's citrusy and tart. As I've read off of the package here. It also has another name, Super Orange Sanguine. So I think like one is Spanish and one is not Spanish. It's English. Allegedly, it's a green tea. And its ingredients are apple citric acid, green tea, hibiscus blossoms, natural blood orange flavoring, orange peel, rosemary, roasted chicory root, GABA green tea, olive leaves, and stevia extract. I mean, it's an okay tea. I mean, it isn't my favorite. I'm not one for like orange teas. Like there's this Constant Comfort tea from Bigelow that's just basically an orange tea, and I've never really been a fan of it, but this is better than that Constant Comfort tea. I will say that much. If you like orange teas, then this might be the tea for you. It might make like a nice cold tea where you brew it in the sun and you kind of let it sit for a little while and then you let it cool down. So you kind of would have like a sweetened, like orange tea type of beverage, and it wouldn't probably do too bad in that respect. All right, folks, that's all the time we have for today. Thank you so much for watching. Happy Terrific Tuesday, spelled TWO. Amber, we need some kind of moral advice and or guidance, and please have it on being a good or bad sibling.
Don't steal your siblings' clothes.
Yeah, don't steal your siblings' clothes. Make sure to invite your sibling to parties and pay off your siblings' rents. I mean, that one's kind of optional. But thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you all tomorrow.
Bye.